Hello there, and welcome back to the Endless Kingdom. I'm your anonymous host, and today on a not-so-critical review, we're going to be doing a follow-up to my last review by taking a peek at the second season of The Dragon Prince. For those of you who have watched my last review, and/or those of you who keep up to date with Netflix's programming, you know that The Dragon Prince is a 3D action-adventure cartoon set around the magical land of Zadia. Though we only get glimpses of the magical part, this season 4 is a direct continuation into the first season, which was mostly set up. We continue to follow the journeys of Callum, Ezran, and Rayla as they try and get the titular Dragon Prince, who was recently hatched from his egg, back to his mother, the Dragon Queen. They're doing this to try and prevent all-out war, since the events of the first season and events preceding the first season, in which we do get a glimpse of, caused quite a bit of turmoil for the non-magical human lands and the magical Zadian lands controlled by the elves and the dragons. Said elves and dragons do not trust humans whatsoever, thanks to the semi-widespread use of dark magic amongst humans, which requires magical sacrifice, as opposed to primal magic, which simply requires an understanding of how said magic works. Which is a nice segue into the characters, because one of the main focuses of Callum involves understanding primal magic. In the first season, Callum was simply building up his confidence due to lacking it entirely, since he was bad at everything that was expected of him. Harsh, but considering he's the stepson of King Harrow of Katalis, understandable. Now, Callum did get a confidence boost in the first season thanks to discovering a magical artifact that allowed him to perform sky primal magic, but he had to give it up to save the Dragon Prince Asmodeus, Zim for short. So he tries to discover a way to perform primal magic without any artifacts. Something everyone who he asks claims is downright impossible for humans. He does not let that stop him, though, even though it causes him a lot of grief due to how difficult he finds the endeavor. But he endures, and in the end is rewarded for his efforts. Enduring. That is in essence the theme of this season for many, including Rayla, who has to start getting more in touch with her emotions and who she wants to be. In the first season, she was dead set in trying to maintain the assassin persona she'd been raised into, but now, the longer she spends with Callum and Ezran, and the more she realizes it's not for her. But letting go of that cold, near-emotionless mentality is not easy for her. We see that throughout the season. And though things aren't completely resolved, we do see her letting go of some of the biases she held. Quite neat to watch. That also extends to Ezran, youngest of the group, and Prince of Katalis, whose character is now more dedicated to teaching the young Zim. He's still the fun-loving kid we got to know in Season 1, but he has more responsibility now, and he's all the better for it. He's definitely growing up, even if only a little bit at a time. But that's not a bad thing. Character journey is really our hallmark of the Dragon Prince. Now, this season does allow for plot progression through use of showing the rising tensions and the lengths some people will go to revolving around those tensions. Seen most prominently with Callum and Ezran's aunt, General Amaya of the Catalan and Standing Battalion. We saw her briefly in Season 1, but she really gets a chance to shine in Season 2. And done especially well, considering that Amaya is deaf and mute. And I must say, they really do the character justice. She is one of the best soldiers in the show, and her disability does nothing to hinder her. Who is hindered in this season, though, is Viren, main villain, one of the series thus far. As the resident High Mage of Katalis, Viren and does what he believes will be best for the kingdom and humanity at large. But this season, without his best friend Harold to keep him in check, the lengths he's willing to go to are extreme. To the point where we see him actively commit treason this season. I'll let you watch the show to see how that turns out. Let's just say Viren gets more and more desperate to the point where he calls upon the help of the series' second main antagonist, Erebos, a mysterious elf who we know next to nothing about, but he is best left for another day. Carrying on with the burden are Soren and Claudia, Viren's children, who throughout the first season were pursuing the princes, and now they find them, but are burdened with an impossible task Viren gave them. Each one for different reasons, but each one reacts to it in a different way. For Soren, the task Viren gives him is slowly tearing him up inside, to the point where Soren is relieved when he's in a situation where he can't perform it anymore. Claudia, on the other hand, well, she is shown to have a bit of a streak of denial in her. As opposed to the quirky and bubbly girl we see in the first season, Claudia keeps encountering situations where she has to make a choice whether to take the moral route or the route that guarantees success. And unfortunately, she keeps choosing the latter. Quite the drastic turn for Claudia as opposed to Soren, who's still the musclehead we knew from the first season, but is shown to be a bit more thoughtful in the second than we were led to believe. So many different ways this show portrays its cast. Each one different from the last, and each one going for their own little journey. All the while, we slowly but surely see the conflict between humans, elves, and dragons boil to the tipping point. And the season does not give any clear answers as to how that will turn out. But frankly, that's a good thing. Keeps you guessing for what's to come, and keeps you wanting more. For the second season of The Dragon Prince is just the middle act in a story arc. Season 3 will be the third act of this first arc. But until you reach that point, just like the first season of The Dragon Prince, Season 2 will provide you with a great deal of entertainment, enjoyment, excitement, everything you expected from the first season, and more. But, as I always say, I'm not here to tell you if the show is good or bad. I'm here to state my opinion and through it let you decide if the second season of The Dragon Prince is something you'd like to watch. So, if you think The Dragon Prince strikes your fancy, you can find the entire series, including the recently released Season 4, out for easy streaming on Netflix. And if you enjoyed today's not-so-critical review, you can like the video, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't, and click the notification bell to stay up to date on all future reviews on this channel. As well, share this video around for anyone you think would like it. And until the next not-so-critical review, I've been your anonymous host of the Endless Kingdom, and I wish you all a good day.